how's it going? Let's see how the camera setup is. Oof. Oh, I'm a little bit sore from kendo the other day. Yeah, it's a little crooked, but I'm sure that's fine. Is everyone fine? The trail's wet because it rained last night. Hasn't rained in, for sure, November, like a couple months, I'd say. So the trail's wet, so I have a wet bum already. Just after 30 seconds of sitting down. You know, up here, it stays pretty green. I guess it looks crooked to me. I think it's okay. It stays pretty green up here year round, like down in this towards the city in that elevation, and even a little higher. A lot of the leaves are gone now off the trees, you know, and it's because we're coming into the dry season, the hot season. But up here, it stays. Leaves do fall for sure, but mostly it's pretty green. Water's a little slow, not slow, but just a little slower than normal. That's fine. We don't mind that at all. No, we don't. Okay. Wash out the funnel. Okay, that's one. Best water in the world. Okay, now. One, two. Yeah, so I was gonna say it's green all year round. But like one evening, it wasn't heavy rain really up here. Well, my mom said in the city it was really heavy for like an hour. But here it rained for many hours. Just light rain, I'd say. But holy, oh my, it's so, the smells that have just emerged from all the plants. Just so happy to have a drink of water, you know? I can relate to that. They can't go walking for their water. They have to wait for it to come. Except, I guess, for the trees and plants near these springs. They just sort of... It's like a luxury resort for plants to be near a spring, I guess. An oasis. Unless it floods, then not so good. Yeah, life's just like that. Like that. So I'm gonna tell a story from my long ride, but I'll do that when I finish filling. It's like coming close. Yeah. But yeah, the smells and the birds are singing. But they sing a lot anyway. But there's an energy right now. Oh, it's so beautiful. Whew. So beautiful. Oh, I could fill out a bit more maybe. Okay, I'll do. Oh, just to the edge. Okay, we'll have a drink of water. Okay, come in a little closer. Okay, 1, 2, whoosh. Okay. Well, my bum's wet already anyway, so let's see, maybe we should adjust this a bit, eh? Should we refocus, perhaps? Let's get the dark. Ooh, I like it dark. It's nice. Okay, so here's what I was gonna do. Yeah, so where was I? I was a beautiful smell. It's lush, very luscious, beautiful smell. But it'll be dry again soon. Anyway, so I was going to tell a story from my long ride. So I was going to do that on a bunch of these walks. Just fill up the water, then tell a little story. And I thought I'd tell the story about the plow wind and the farmer rolling his fields. So this is in the first year. A lot of stuff happened in the first year. A lot of stuff happened in every year. But after the first year, that was a steep learning curve, and the second and third years certainly challenging, right? Certainly, but I had a very. It was quite different physically and mentally and all that stuff. But fair enough, you'd expect that, right? But anyway, so the first year, let's see now. I forget where I was exactly, but it was for sure 3 weeks in. I'd say definitely. And I was just going along some small roads, and I found a nice spot. There's a little slough, like a little pond, I guess you could call it. And I set up my tent up on a high level, and I went down to the pond with the horses and let them drink, and I splashed in the water and got cleaned up and stuff. But at that point, I hadn't had anything like a hot shower or anything like that. And anyway, so then I got camped up. I was camped up on a little high area, which is lovely, right? Beautiful view, nice breeze, not so many mosquitoes because of the breeze, but it was very sandy, right? The ground was sandy, which is nice to sleep on, but if you can imagine, things like tent pegs don't hold quite as well. Yeah. So all's well. The horses are staked out. I had picketed them, so I had them on a, I don't know, 15, 20 meter line. So just walk around and eat and sleep and stuff. And they're quite used to being picketed. I put a picket as a stake in the ground, and then I have a single hobble on one leg, and that I would attach them there. Yeah, but in the middle of the night, it was like a train coming over the prairies. It was like, it was amazing. And then all of a sudden, boom, this wind hit. And oh, I got up and I had a three-sided shelter, kind of beautiful Townsend lean-to kind of shelter that I was using to sleep under that year. And they just flattened it instantly, right? And then I got up out under the tent and I stood up and usually I sleep without clothes on, right? But in those situations, it's good to wear clothes in case emergency happens, right? And anyway, I had like pajama type stuff. Anyway, I had a long sleeve t-shirt and I got up and the wind literally ripped the shirt right off my back. Like just pulled it off and through, right? It was so powerful. And I got up and I went to look for the horses and I couldn't see the horses, but I thought, okay, I'm just gonna let them be where they are and they'll be fine. I'll figure it out in the morning. And then I just ended up sleeping under the tarp with it flat on the ground, right? I don't think it was raining. I don't remember rain, no, just this wind. And later someone said, oh, that was a plow wind. It's like a hurricane level wind that just goes careening across the prairies, you know? And so that was a plow wind. I experienced that. Anyway, so the next day, I didn't get much sleep, as you might imagine, right? Maybe 2 hours tops. So I was quite tired, and I saw a little homestead a couple kilometers down from where I was. I said, I'll just go there, set up camp, because I wanted to get off this ridge in case a storm came on. And then I was walking along. Oh, and all that night, prior to the storm coming, I just heard this bang, clang, clang, bang, clang, clang. And there's someone with a tractor going on till like 1 in the morning. But what he was doing, he was rolling his fields, right? My understanding is I think like you go through fields and pick rocks and stuff, right? But I suppose at some point, I don't know the details, so please let me know what I got wrong here. But then later he would take these big rollers behind the tractor and just roll all the rocks flat down on the field. And I guess that's so that when they're harvesting, the machines don't hit the rocks, I suppose. Anyway, so I was going down and he was back in the morning doing his thing. And after about 500 meters, we kind of collided, right? And he stopped his tractor and came out and turned it off. And I stopped and bleary-eyed, but fine, you know. And he said, wow, what are you doing? And so we're talking, like within a half a minute, I'm going, holy cow, a gay wheat farmer. Wow. Anyway, it ended up being that he had a girlfriend and stuff. So anyway, that's just funny, my impression. But anyway, so we're chatting, and I was telling him what I was doing this long ride. And he said, you should come to my place. You can camp out at my place, have a shower. I'll make you dinner. And I was like, how far is it? It's like a couple of miles the direction I wasn't going, right? That's quite a bit. 2 miles. It's like, what's that? 3.5 kilometers. Like there and back, that's 6 kilometers. Like, in my tired state, I was like, but he was really nice. And I thought, oh, shower would be nice. And just, in a sheltered area and I was eating hot meals, but my meals are very simple, right? Like, I dried deer meat and like made pemmican and like jerky. So I would pick all my greens from the ground, right? This would have been, I don't know, June, I guess. Anyway, I mostly ate nettles, lamb's quarters, and dandelion leaves for my greens. That's pretty much what I always ate on my rides, right? I wouldn't carry like greens from a store because I hardly ever went to the store, and also it wouldn't last, right? Anyways, that's what I did. Very healthy, by the way. I was in really good shape. Anyway, so I thought, okay, that's great. And I said, oh, okay, sure, okay, why not? And then I can go back to that homestead I saw. It wouldn't be that far a trip, even if I was still tired. So anyway, so we continue on. He continues his fields, and he's down at another end, and I wander over to a road. And these roads are all dirt roads, right? And he sort of stopped his trailer and walked up to me, and I was on my horse's pack horse, saddle horse, really tired. And he came up to me, he goes, I've changed my mind. And he's like I still think he's a gay wheat farmer. He's so effeminate. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm just really funny. I just thought it was funny, and still do think it's funny. But he says, you know, I don't think I can. I don't think you can come and stay at my place. You're so strange. It's exactly how he says it. You're so strange. And this is the funniest thing of all. He says, and I'm afraid. And like, so even more than the gay Saskatchewan wheat farmer that surprised me was like, wow, a Saskatchewan wheat farmer afraid of anything. Like my experience with farmers and ranchers is like, these guys are like the real thing, right? I can't imagine them being afraid of anything. Of course, we all get afraid of things, but like my friend Lyle, right? Like he's like the toughest guy I know, right? And all of the ranchers I know. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. But that's so funny. You're so strange. Well, that's true. And I'm afraid. I went, really? Okay, well, it's no problem. Oh, what's that? Gotta keep an outlook for tigers and things. Anyway, I said, oh, no problem, no problem. I get it, right? Really weird. Alone. Anyway, you can imagine the image. And I got deerskin leggings and everything. Anyway, so I said, oh, that's no problem. Don't worry. I'm just going to camp over here anyway. It's close. And so but the thing is, like, because of that moment, the energy was weird, right? As you can imagine. I was fine with it, but the energy was weird. And so all of a sudden, like, the horses are so sensitive, right, to this kind of thing, right? And all of a sudden, Nahani, my pack horse, started running around me. And I had to have her on a line, right? She started running around me, and if I had my wits with me, I would have just let the line go, right? And she can just go wherever. But I didn't. I was just like, ugh. And she ran around me, and then the rope went around Dakota, my saddle horse's legs, and Dakota freaked out, and boom, I popped up in the air. It landed on my knees, right? Like, I went over his head and landed like this. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. How much weirder can this day get? And the guy comes running back. He says, oh, I'm so sorry. This is all my fault, right? He's not a horse guy, but he probably knows the weird thing and how horses are. So I said, oh, it's okay, I'm fine. I was fine, actually. I didn't injure myself. And I landed on, like, sandy road and everything. But it was a bit startling, I will say that. So I said, oh, that's okay, don't worry, I'm fine. Anyway, so I just walked to the homestead, the abandoned homestead, to set up camp. And yeah, it was like, wasn't very far. It was like 300 meters, so. And set up camp. It was a nice little place. There was water. The main issue traveling through there is water, right? Yeah, it's like I would really go from water to water, and there was a real risk of having to camp without water. And I asked friends, horse friends, how long do I think a horse could go without water, right? A couple of days maybe, but try not to do that. Anyway, so, and then he showed up later. He drove in, and he says, he drove up and just to check that I was okay, and I was fine, and I was just hanging out. Beautiful warm day, no wind, it was beautiful. He says, oh, I'm really sorry, he says, I'm going to a funeral in Moose Jaw. So Moose Jaw was to the east. Moose Jaw is a southern city, large town in southern Saskatchewan. And I used to go there a lot because where I was staying at Chris and Lyle's Moose Jaw was like the nearest decent sized city for if you want to buy certain things. Anyway, not a lot. I go over once every couple of weeks. Anyway, he said, oh, do you want anything? I said, well, I don't really need anything. Maybe some eggs, if you find some eggs. And so sure. So he shows up, but I ate some dinner, and he showed up quite late, like for me, late, like 7-ish. But it was the summer, so the days are long, right? Like, it would still be light at 10:30 at night. So, he did come, though. He came in, and he had, like, loads of food, like eggs and strawberries, and he brought, like, burgers and fries and all kinds of stuff. So, and some beers as well. So we sat and chatted and had a couple of beers, and it was really nice. He says, yeah, and then he explained the situation. He said, I'm really sorry about that whole thing. It was weird, I know. And said, I just thought, oh, this is going to be... I just have this new girlfriend, and she's going to be freaked out. And I said, oh, that's okay. Like, I love being camped on my own, right? It was really not an issue for me, even in spite of the weird, hilarious moment. But we ended up talking and chatting for like an hour and a half, and it was lovely actually. And he says, you're really, what you're doing is really amazing, and I wish I'd known all that before all this, and then I would have invited you. I said, oh, no problem, He was, it's one of those moments where, I don't know what to say, it's like weird things just happen. Like things just happen. Oh, look at the reflection. So the sun's on my hand. Ooh, lighting. Wow, that's really cool, eh? Oh, the sun's going down. Anyway, it's just one of those things, and certainly traveling alone, you get these experiences, and traveling alone with a couple of horses, you get a lot of really interesting experiences. Most of them good. There's a few weird ones for sure, but maybe I'll tell a weird story on the next walk. But most of them were great, actually. Like I said on my last walk, meeting people and the hospitality and all that was really amazing, actually. Kind of life-changing that. Like I've had all these certain aspects of times in my life that were like just like life-changing almost, and elevated somehow. Maybe that's not the right word, but sort of shifted me into a different sort of plane of existence. That's a bit much, right? Oh, I entered a new plane of existence. Oh, anyway, sort of like that though. But you got to be open to it, and it's easier when you're alone. I think. Solo travels can be really great. Anyway, so that's the story of the farmer and the plow wind and being thrown off the horse, and everything worked out in the end. And then I was on my way the next day. Had a good long sleep, as you might imagine. Also, just thinking of the birds singing right now. Those homesteads are amazing for birds, eh? Like, birds would come across the prairie and see all these trees and stuff. And holy, like at Chris and Lyle's place, the ranch they used to have, they had a guest ranch, They farmed it and ranched it too, though. But boy, the birds in that place. I did a recording once and put it on the website. It was astounding, the level of bird sound. Like, it would keep you up at night or in the morning, wake you up really early. Yeah. Anyway, so that's about it for now. Maybe what are we at now? 23 minutes, so that's a fair length. I guess I'll just maybe sign off and do my farewells when I get to that open space. Okay, thanks for listening. I'll see you in a few seconds. You really gotta get one of those things that gimbal things, smooth out the walking. Super steep. Don't want to slip down that. Oop, 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 oop. Okay, so this is the rock of transition. This is where I often switch to selfie mode. Okay, so there you go. That's another story from my long ride. In case you don't know, I for 3 years, between 2011 2013. I did a solo long ride with 2 horses across southern Saskatchewan, southern Alberta. And in the end, it became clear that the ride was really about linking together the last remnants of the native grass, which is the old growth forest of the plains, which is diminished tremendously. Of course, lots of other things. I actually started out as it might be something else than that, but that's what it ended up being. Yeah, so that's that. I'll try and think of another one to talk about next week. I think the one I have in mind won't be so long, right? Yeah. So I hope everyone's doing well. I don't know what to say about that stuff, right? Yeah, everyone says, "Oh, stay healthy." It's like, yeah, okay, fine. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm suspicious of the vaccines, as I say often, and all that crap, and everyone jumping on the bandwagon of that. Yeah, not for me, thanks. Unless they work, right? I'm not gonna be guinea pig. Anyway, I should just let this one go, right? But anyway, do what you need to do in your life and try and get outside if you can, right? Get out in the sun. I know in the north in the winter it's not a lot of sun for vitamin D, but pretty sure that helps even our spirits to be out in nature. Okay, thanks so much, à la prochaine, and see you on the flip side. Ciao.